Hello, this is Trista. Welcome to my second video. This is Psychic Question of the Day. I have a bunch of questions from people that were sent in to me, so we're gonna just jump right in. The first one, I'm gonna go by initials. So the first one is from JD. She's actually asking about someone who had passed away, and she wants to know how they're doing. So the information that I received from this person on the other side um, was this. So, I'm doing great. I love you very much and have been keeping up with what you have been up to. He also mentioned something about blue. So, I don't know. I know blue is kind of general, but if there's been any issues with blue, anything that came up blue, he mentioned something about blue. Also mentioned a repair at work. He had seen there was something going on at your workplace, that there was some sort of repair done there. He's been helping souls heal and transition on the other side. And then, did you recently have a friend that passed? That's the question. So, um, if so, then he was there and present and observed that also. He did send you some more cardinals. He was present at the car accident. Everything went well with the car accident except for the actual car damage, the damage to the car. So everybody was safe. They caught the person and all that. So um, he says he's been singing and flying. And I said flying. He said like acrobatics there. He sits with you sometimes when you're drinking your morning coffee and reading the paper. He's very proud of how you have been doing and living your life. He's very proud of you. He knows you still miss him some days, but he is waiting to see you down the road, and he sends his love and kisses. So that was all I got from him. So that was for JD. The next questions came from BP. He has 3 or 4 questions here related to souls. So here we go. The question was, are there good and bad souls in heaven? So the response was, no, there really aren't quote unquote bad souls, just some bad choices. All souls have light in them, even if it's only a small flicker. Most souls that think they are bad or want to be bad don't normally seek out the place that we refer to as heaven, because they assume that they're going to either not be let in or get in trouble. Even bad souls have protectors and angels assigned to them, so there's always people working with them, trying to assist them. They are never abandoned, no matter what they do, whatever they think. If they think they've done something horrible or they know they've done something horrible, they're never abandoned. God still loves them. They do not ever give up on a soul. They are always working to assist a soul, heal a soul, transition a soul. It may take a while of souls for some of them to come around, and it may not happen until after they pass. So if they pass away, they may be ghosts or stuck here for a time because they're afraid to go to heaven. So they may hang out in the astral plane for a while. The other thing to remember is that some souls are playing that role of being bad. Some souls are volunteered to play the bad guy or the villain in a situation so that the soul agrees to help out. So usually there's some goal they're trying to accomplish, some lesson they're trying to accomplish. So that soul will volunteer to be the bad guy. It doesn't mean they're a bad soul necessarily. It's probably the opposite. But they do agree to help out for difficult situations and lessons. We live in a place where, here on the physical plane, we live in a place where good and bad exist. It is part of this dimension. It is not a perfect place, and many lessons are learned here. and sometimes someone has to play the role to assist in causing that change. So sometimes there's a catalyst, a negative, something perceived as negative, or someone that's perceived as negative, and they agree to be the catalyst, the bad guy in the situation. So they're assisting in causing the change. So be careful when you judge people. You don't know what that soul lesson, that soul is assisting people in learning. You don't know what the greater lesson, the greater good will be, and they're here to help and help to teach us. The angels are also involved in souls. Sometimes angels will volunteer to be incarnate on the physical plane, and they'll agree to be the bad guy also. So, or they'll be the person that's victimized or someone who dies tragically to raise awareness. So oftentimes angels will, and higher evolved souls may be here in disguise, playing a role for the greater good. All right. Next question was, how can we have so much evil on Earth? So evil, they said, yes, there is some true evil, but not as much as we think there is. There are universal laws that we are all supposed to follow, and sometimes people's souls and entities will intentionally break the laws. That is when they have to intervene from the higher ranked, more evolved souls, and then there are consequences. So what they're saying is there isn't as much evil as maybe people think there is. There is some. They acknowledge that there is some out there. And if there is some true evil, then usually there's a battle. And if people are breaking universal laws and codes, there are people, souls, assigned to deal with that and provide consequences. So there are souls, I got off track here. There are some souls and spirits whose job it is to maintain universal order. If there are souls that don't want to follow the rules, God and the universe will call in the big guns, so to speak, to deal with them. Those souls may surrender when they see the enforcers coming, or they may try to go rogue. It is their choice. It's always their choice, the decisions that they make. And then it's also their consequences. So I don't want to say punishment or discipline, but they're saying consequences to their choices. There are not a lot of these cases, but they do try to stay on top of those souls that have gone rogue or acting up, or not following the rules. That do not want to comply. They say they do keep the tabs on them. They are following them. They are assisting to always help them and help them to make positive choices. Most of the good or evil that is playing out in the role is a role that we just talked about, and to be a catalyst for change. So sometimes we think that something's truly evil and it's not necessarily truly evil. It's some soul assisting and teaching a lesson. And some of those souls that are darker souls may have a lot more dark energy around them, but they always still have a small flicker of the light, and so they never give up on those. They're always trying to assist them, even if there's some darkness around them. And then they also wanted to add, this doesn't just happen here on Earth in this dimension, but in other dimensions and on other planets. So they're also saying it's a universal thing. It's not just something for our third dimension, Earth. So, all right. The next question you had, are the spirits fighting each other? They didn't say a lot about this. They said there can be spirits that battle. And then they said, kind of refer back to the first two questions that they answered about the consequences and people monitoring, the enforcers. This next question was, can we do anything to fight evil? They said yes, you can pray. You can ask for assistance and guidance. You can forgive others. Bless others, accept others' flaws. Try not to judge others because we do not know the whole story. Like I said, they said earlier, we don't know what role they're playing and what lesson is being taught. And sometimes it's a lesson just within a person or family, or it could be something that's playing out in the world stage, something in the news that's has a lot of people following it. So, so yeah. So try not to judge others because we do not know the whole story. That soul may not have understood the whole story. On a soul level, the soul knows. Like the soul may not understand that they're there to teach a lesson. They may not consciously understand it, but they're on a soul level. Their soul does understand their role and their job, their assignment, their mission. But they may not consciously get it intellectually, but they're still kind of following through on what they're supposed to be doing. So the human brain may not understand or may not be supposed to intellectually know the truth. We forget a lot of our soul knowledge when we incarnate in the physical plane. Our soul has a lot of information that carries with us, but we don't always and often don't have conscious memories or access to some of that information. We forget quite a bit of that on the physical plane. Mostly so we can do our life lessons. And so the reason that we have some amnesia and we tend to forget some of that information is because we're not supposed to remember, and we're supposed to be learning some lesson or teaching some lesson on a certain path, on a certain mission. So, and we do that so souls can evolve and learn, and either individual souls or a group consciousness, depending on what it is. Sometimes souls are here to assist others. So again, they may choose to be the bad guy in order to assist somebody in learning something. But they may not consciously remember that or the plan. All right, so that was the end of his questions. The next person is DP. She has 3 questions. First one was, does our higher self contain all information on our incarnations? And she calls it the higher self. Does our higher self contain all our incarnations? So the answer is yes. Our soul or higher self does contain all previous, present, and future incarnations. However, some may apply more directly to your current life and situations. So you may or may not have information or access memories of some of that. You may not be able to access to remember them when you're on the physical plane. Some people know or remember bits and pieces. Some people may be able to access more information through dreams, past life regressions, flashbacks, music, meditation, any of those. Those are things people use to trigger information to come forward. They're not the only ways to do it. Her next question is the higher self unique to itself? They say all souls are unique. Some are created the same, but as they evolve, they have their own signature and identity. So you may have a bunch of souls or a group of souls that are baby souls that are born. God makes them, and they're twins or triplets or they're similar at the start, but as they evolve and grow, they have their own unique development and develop their own unique signature and identity. They say there are also soul groups where souls can be more similar to other members in the group. So there's a lot of similarities to those souls within the group, and they're part of that soul group, and they're closer, and they're like a soul family. So they are a type of family unit. And they try to assist each other, just not themselves, but because they're in the same soul group, they try to assist each other. They also enjoy being around each other and may have similar energy, gifts, lifetimes, etc. There is a special bond in a soul group. Soul groups are unique and part of the hierarchy of heaven or places similar to heaven. And then why they say that is they say there's different levels of heaven. There are different levels where different souls can go to heal or plan their next lives. Younger, less experienced souls may be in one area. Souls that have experienced severe trauma go to healing areas that specialize in special types of healing that soul needs. So some examples that they gave might be healing for souls that had cancer, souls that are recovering from addictions, souls that experience severe trauma or sexual abuse, souls that had died of starvation, poisoning, etc. So all those areas will have a unique healing area just for people who died of poisoning, just for people who died of maybe in a traumatic car accident and were horribly, I want to say mangled or, really severely torn apart when they passed. So there are specialty areas and they'll go there for healing. It's kind of like a little hospital, mini hospitals, mini specialty treatment units. This can sometimes take time for the souls to heal. It's not always instant. The soul can also carry the memory of the damage or disease that afflicted the physical body. So when you pass, your soul, you no longer have the physical body, but that imprint, that memory is imprinted on the soul, and the soul holds on to that memory. So she had another question. How many dimensions do we live in this moment? So they say there's an unlimited amount. Every soul experience is different. There are at least 2 dimensions that you're at one time existing in. Many people can have their soul energy split in more than one dimension at a time. So you may have your current human lifetime and your oversoul in heaven. So if you just had 2, you could just be the soul. So my soul, Trista, here in the physical plane for this lifetime. And then I still have a piece of my soul that's in heaven that's anchoring me there. And they called it an oversoul. So we exist simultaneously because we're still part of the same soul. And then you may have that soul may also be having simultaneous lifetimes in different dimensions or in different places also. It may split its energy. So you may have a current human lifetime with your oversoul in heaven. Part of your soul remains connected in heaven to anchor you there, while most of your soul energy may be incarnate. Also, the past, present, and future can all exist at one time, which is kind of hard to wrap your brain around sometimes. So that they're also going to be in different dimensions at the same time. Many people's souls can be busy at different places at the same time, so they can be doing different things. They could have dual lives. They may have a life on the physical plane in Earth, and they may have an ET lifetime that they're living simultaneously or sharing energy with. So it's kind of hard to wrap your brain around that sometimes. All right, so that was the end of her questions. They said that I could ask a question. I wasn't really sure what to ask. So my question was, what kinds of guides can we have? So, and we kind of touched on the angels and guardian angels in the first video. But this is what they said about that. Let's see, where am I? So there are all kinds of guides, angels, ancestors, spirits, wise ones. I've never heard that term before, but there's some souls that are called wise ones. Trees, I've never heard of trees being guides, but trees have their own life force also. Various animals, guides. They specifically mentioned dogs, probably because there's so many people that love dogs, and they're so much part of our human existence. And a lot of people have dogs that have passed and then come back to hang out with them. And then also ETs, extraterrestrials. They don't like to be called aliens. They prefer to be called people or souls or ETs. And other, maybe if they know specifically where they're from, then I don't want to say Martians, but if they're from a certain place, they might want to be called that also. If they're part of a certain group or part of a certain military group or designation. All right, so angels are the most common ones to have for guides, and angels exist in various religions and different faiths. So, you have your Christians, you have your Catholics, you have your Muslims, Buddhists, you have your different, you have some pagan groups. So, but angels are most common because they're most often present in various different faiths and religions. And that's their job. It's their job to guide and assist us. But sometimes we'll have special approved other souls that help with that. So they say that often the angels are the best trained for the job, but there can be special guides that are approved in case-by-case situations. So maybe you're someone that responds to dragons. Maybe you're someone who responds to elephants. I don't know, anything. Could be anything. If you have a response and a positive reaction to those different things, then you may use those as a guide because they're easier for you to connect with, and you're able and you have a respect for them and that kind of thing. Guides can be short-term or long-term. I think they mentioned that in the last video, depending on how long you need them. And the guides are usually there for specific lessons and situations, whereas the guardian angels are there for the duration of your lifetime and then after, because sometimes people don't cross over immediately. And so they stay with you until you get back to source. Most times you are not going to be aware that they are there, your guides. Some people are real attuned to their guides, especially if they've been in contact with them since they were children or had a significant life experience and became aware of their guides. Or some people can see the guides or feel them or hear them. They're going to be more aware of them. But most of the times as you're going through your day, you're not necessarily, it's not normal to necessarily know that they're there 24/7. And they are considered specialists. Guides are considered specialists here to help with specific lessons, issues, experiences, healings, that kind of thing. All right. So page 4, continuing. As far as guides go, you can talk to them or ask them for assistance. These are there in addition to your guardian angel. So like I said, everybody has a guardian angel, at least one. And then you have individual guides that come in and out to help with certain things. You can also call additional assistance if you would like to. So there are more well-known spirits out there that sometimes people like to call in for assistance that are available. These spirits may govern certain areas. Could be a country they're watching over. Could be a group of people. Some examples may include Jesus, Buddha, archangels, Mother Mary. These are some common ones that a lot of times people will call in for assistance when they're struggling and want support. And that's totally okay also. They're always available to you. They're always on call to help people. And they don't have to be your assigned guide. But they can come in if you were to call Archangel Michael or Mother Mary or Buddha or any one of those souls. They're available to help. They're on call. So anyway. All right. That was the end of my question. The next one is JD. This was another additional question that she had. Her question was, can some souls, I got a cat about to jump up here. Can some souls have been aliens in a past life? So the answer is, of course. Many souls have lived all over the universe. There are many souls that call each other's places. I got a crazy cat about to jump up here, so I'm just trying to make sure he doesn't jump up here and get in trouble. So now he distracted me. There are many souls that call other places home. So my soul, maybe my original soul when it was first born in the universe, was not born on Earth. Maybe it was born in some other star system, other location. And so that might be where is considered my home, my original home. And sometimes people, say you're born in Minnesota or you're born in Europe or somewhere on Earth. That may be your home, but maybe you travel as you go along, you travel to different places to live, and it's the same kind of thing. So maybe you were born in Sirius, star system Sirius, and maybe that's your original home. But as you've evolved and gotten to be more experienced and a more evolved soul, maybe you have gone to live in other locations that need assistance, or you want to have the lessons that were going on in that particular location. So you may be now on Earth, but maybe your previous lifetimes you were in ET, or maybe you were somewhere else. So that is totally possible. So souls that call places home that are currently incarnate on Earth. So they may be from other places. And maybe you're one of the souls that Earth is your original home. I do think there's a lot of, I don't know this for sure, but I do think there's a lot of souls that are here from other places, not just from here. Some are aware that they're from somewhere else. They can kind of feel it. You hear people say, I want to go home, but I don't know where home is. So some might be aware of it, and some don't. And some family lines maybe have lineages that are maybe not from here, or I don't know how to really explain that without getting into. We'll leave that for another day. Anyway, some souls have ties to other planets and still maintain their ties with those souls. So that's the original soul family. So if they have family in, Sirius, just that one popped into my head. Those people that are currently, those families that are currently in Sirius or tied to Sirius may still keep tabs on the soul that's here from somewhere else. That is their soul family, and so they may protect and be nearby to offer support. And so you may have, some people do have ET contacts. Some people don't believe them, but I mean, I believe them that they have ET contacts. You just never know. There's so much out there that we don't know, that we don't understand, that we're not taught. And so I think you just have to be open-minded in some of this stuff. All right, so I'm getting off track here. Many souls that have ties to other planets still maintain their soul ties with the ETs, and the ETs will often watch over their people. Many ETs are more evolved because a lot of the ETs are in higher dimensions than Earth. So we're in a third dimension on Earth, but maybe they're coming from a fifth dimension, seventh dimension. So they're more evolved. So sometimes when those souls incarnate onto the physical plane, they may also bring some of their past technical knowledge. It's in their soul. So they may bring some of those technical things to this planet. And some of the people who were inventors or other things, I'm getting ahead of myself. I gotta go back to find out where that is. All right, so many of those people who are more evolved souls than the people on this planet, so sometimes they can be the ones that invent different technologies for the people here on this planet. So those technologies could include different medical things, environmental technologies, aerospace technologies, special communications, etc. Some of your famous inventors and psychics, etc., have had ties or downloads from ETs. So either they came in as an ET soul with more advanced knowledge, or they received information um, in a download, they call them. Just like anyone else that you meet, not all ETs are automatically good or bad. They are souls just like us. They're just born somewhere else. Different ET souls. There's different ET souls out in the universe that have their own life lessons, missions, families, etc., just like we do here. Should you meet one, you can ask them to identify themselves. They are governed by the same or similar universal laws that we are. And a lot of people are right now are into ETs, but they always kind of suggest know who you're talking to. Know that they're, a good ET, and they're not a negative influence, because it can be both ways, just like it can here. All right, 5B. Are there bad souls helping bad souls, or good souls helping good souls? So the answer to that is yes and no. Yes, there are good souls that will assist others. There's also negative souls that try to influence other souls. I mean, they are out there. And it kind of goes back to our question earlier when we talked about good and bad souls earlier in the reading. So like we said before in the term good or bad souls, it's more complex than that. It's not that easy of a question. You should try to be guided in who you talk to. There are tricksters out there that can try to cause people trouble. And there are negative souls, spirits, and energies that will also try to negatively engage with or try to influence different souls that are here. Either more positive or more negative souls. It's like I said earlier, everybody has the light in them, just sometimes varying degrees. You need to try to avoid or block or clear negative energies and intentions. And how you would do that, you ask God or your higher source or whoever it is whoever you call your higher source. Ask God, your guides, your angels to protect you from negative energies and to clear you from negative energies. Sometimes there's negative energies that need more interventions. We're not really going to get into that. I don't have specifics on that, but that is the end of that question. And then we had one follow-up question from the first video. This is from JB. She had a follow-up question. She said, please expand on the topic of expectations and how to better our spiritual life with managing expectations. So I had made a comment in that video, the first video, about sometimes we expect certain things. Anyway, so she wanted me to clarify that. All right, so we all have preconceived expectations. Our intellect tries to anticipate certain outcomes or tries to fill in the blanks of what our future might be and what our expectations of the future might be. Sometimes we don't have any idea what some of the options are, so we come up with expectations. We kind of fill in the blanks. Expectations serve us to a point, but may not in the end be accurate or correct. So, say you had expectations of maybe being a mother in this lifetime, and it didn't happen, but you had that expectation, and then that didn't happen, and so you live with that, kind of being let down or disappointed, and that didn't happen. So that's kind of a set expectation. Expectations may serve us to a point, but may not in the end be accurate or correct. There are too many variations or options to be able to accurately anticipate what will happen. It is good to try to be open-minded to various outcomes. Some outcomes are so fantastic that we will never anticipate them. So some outcome in someone's life may just be some incredible, crazy, weird thing that happens to them, and they would never in 100 years have anticipated that that would ever have happened. And so we kind of don't want to fill in the blanks with expectations, although it's in our nature to do that, I think, because I know I do that. Um, so they suggest try to go with the flow and not set a specific outcome, um, and have faith in the universe and be open to all the possibilities. Some people don't like their outcomes or path, but there are reasons that things happen the way they do. So if you were always wanted to be a mother and you were never able to biologically produce or have children, there's a reason that that didn't go that way. People don't always like to hear that was their path and that was in the cards. And sometimes people's life paths change, and so a decision you make at one point um, may influence outcomes in the future. So you take one road and it leads you a different direction. Sometimes the roads always go back to the same place. Sometimes they go a totally different place. And so what you may have thought was going to happen, or what information you received, this is going to happen. Sometimes those lifelines can change based on your choices. So that's how sometimes you think something's going to happen, and then all of a sudden you're like, what? Wait a second. That's not the information I had gotten or information I thought was true. And you expect a certain thing and then it doesn't happen. You're kind of like, well, what happened there? I've done that. Totally done that. And then you're like, that's not what I thought the plan was, but then the plans can change. They are not written in stone. So if you make a different choice or decision, you have different outcomes. So we don't often understand why things happen the way they do. So sometimes it's difficult for people to accept. Trying not to focus and dwell on things that can help some people to move forward on their path. So if you had expected something in your lifetime and it was you were really disappointed when it didn't happen, and you don't understand why it didn't happen, they kind of suggest you just try to go with the flow, try not to dwell on it, don't get hung up on it, so that it ends up causing you more distress and trauma later down the road. But just try to focus, not focus on it and to dwell on it, and move on to whatever it is on your path. There's usually a reason things didn't go the way that you thought they should go. Things can help people to continue forward on their paths. Sometimes they have to return and redo the lesson. So if you got to the point where you were so, I want to say bent out of shape, that's not a nice way to put it, but so upset by something, the way it went, and don't ever get over it, and don't ever move on and deal with your other lessons and lessons tied to that, then if you don't finish that lesson, you may end up coming back to do it again and do it again somewhere else. So in a different lifetime, because we don't just not get to skip over certain things. We have to deal with them. So sometimes we return to a lesson if we couldn't accept it or get past it. So this isn't real uncommon that it can take several lifetimes, incarnations, multiple lifetimes to learn a lesson thoroughly in order to move on from it. So it's not uncommon that we have to repeat stuff or parts of things until we totally have that down. So that's not unusual. We have multiple opportunities to learn our lessons, to grow and evolve. So that was the last part of her follow-up. That was for JB. So then I said, what else? Is there anything else? They said, be kind to others, assist each other, love yourself, do your best, have faith, and be brave. These things will help make your life a success. Thank you for all your good questions. The angel said, thank you for all the good questions. There were a lot of questions that were very deep, very not quite what I was expecting to get. Um, so I hope that the information that they gave helped clarify some of those. If not, you can do a follow-up question on those. You can send it to my email, or you can write it in the comments section of the video down below. And then they say, God bless you. And then that was the end of the channeling. And then I just wanted to bring up something. I know there's people who are watching these videos, friends and family of mine that are not used to YouTube and watching videos, and so they're not real sure how this all works. But they always encourage people, YouTubers encourage people to like the videos, give it a thumbs up, share it, subscribe. And when they say subscribe, that means you're going to hit the button on the video, and you're going to have a subscription to that video. It doesn't cost anything, but it makes sure that you get notified for any upcoming videos. So I would encourage people that want to continue to follow along with these readings to please subscribe. When you pull up the video, there's a red button and with the word subscribe in the middle. So you hit the red button with your mouse. It'll change color, and then a little bell will come up on the right side of it. Little bell. Hit on the bell with your mouse, and then it'll have 3 different options of things to choose for notifications. They'll say personalized, or all. I usually just hit all, so that if there's somebody I'm following and I want to always be notified of when they have a new video because I want to watch it. So you want to put down subscribe, and then when it pops up with a little bell on the side, hit all or personalized. I don't know how the personalized ones work, but I usually just hit all, so I get all their updated videos, and they're sent to either your email or your phone or whatever, however you have it set up. So that's kind of, and then also when you do that, it also it is an indication to YouTube that hopefully more people, if you share and subscribe, more people will be able to find your video. The more subscribers you have, more likes you have, it makes it easier for other people to find you if they're not already tied into you giving them because I sent out a lot of notifications to people individually at first, so I won't be doing that every time. So it'll be easier just to get the notifications when the videos do come up. So I guess that's all I have for today. Thank you for visiting my YouTube channel for my second video. I hope that helped some people. And like I said, if you have further questions, please let me know. And then the next one, or different questions, you can send me your other questions if you have other questions that you would like me to do in the next video or upcoming videos. So just send them to me. And thank you so much, and enjoy your day, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.